Shannon Wong is a woman of duality. By day, she's Shannon, the dedicated professional balancing a 9 to 5 job. But when the sun sets, she transforms into Katana, a commanding force in the kink and sex positive space. She recently landed her first lead role in a theater production, Soulmate, adding yet another layer to her dynamic life. I had a chance to sit down with her for an interview, and what I discovered was mesmerizing. Behind the seductive dances, bold fashion, and dominant presence is a mind just as captivating. Watch her conversation and step into the world of Shannon and Katana. You won't see her the same way again. Um, Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So, you're currently transitioning into mainstream acting. So,
Yes.
okay. So, can you tell us when did you actually start getting interested in entertainment, acting, and you also sing and dance, apparently?
Yes. So, this last play that I did called Soulmate, um, my friend really wanted me to do some acting with him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started going to some of his theater performances, I was like, wow, this is so interesting. So I think it's really new.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say maybe 6 months
Mm-hmm.
that I've kind of been thinking, oh, this might be something that I could try out or that I might like.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so growing up though in a Chinese family, Asian family, I came from a Filipino family. Um I'm going to assume that just like everybody, every kid, every Asian kid, you were sort of expected to pursue a different route, maybe being a doctor. So when did you start realizing that's not for me, something else is for me?
Yes. I think I've known the whole time because actually, when I was really young, I was like telling people that I was an artist. Like right away, I would say, "Hi, I'm Shannon and I'm an artist." And my
Mm-hmm.
dad would say, "Don't tell people you're an artist. You're not you're not an artist." But to me I was. I was
Right.
like always trying to do every type of art,
Right.
like singing, dancing, and drawing and painting.
Okay. So are you into drawing and painting?
I haven't done that in a while,
But
but
when you were a kid, that
when I
was
was
something that you beautiful tattoos, by the way. Are those your drawings?
I do have some tattoos that are my drawings, yes.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And then growing up, did you participate in theater?
No, not really. Growing up, as I think it's very common in Chinese families, but I was playing piano at the age of 5.
Okay.
Yes. So I think that maybe that could have struck something, but I was always interested in dance, but I didn't actually have a lot of options in Hawaii for things like that.
So from there, when did you start pursuing social media and other things that you're doing right now?
Yes. Okay. So this is going to be kind of a long-winded story.
We're here to listen.
Yes. So when I was in middle school, during the MySpace era,
Yes.
I was having so much fun. I was like, okay, I'm like doing all this coding and
You
all
were
these
coding?
profiles. Just not really HTML,
Okay.
but just having fun, like doing all kinds of art in that way, like designing things and
Yeah.
profiles, and using a lot of Photoshop. And I think that was just like a booming time. It was like Tumblr, people were using Tumblr, people were doing like photography. And I came across Suicide Girls platform. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Like, I think I really connect with this because I kind of feel like I'm different. Like I've never really felt like I fit in. And their tagline is like, what makes us different is what makes us beautiful.
Right, right. Okay. So for those who don't know, what is it? What is a West Side Girl?
Oh, a Suicide Girl? Yes. So that is a platform. It was one of the first subscription-based platforms out there. Now like there's like OnlyFans and things like that. But during that time, very early, like 2008, 9, I would say, is when they popped off. And it's really like, it's kind of like Playboy, but for inked and alternative models. So
Okay.
people who do their hair different, like different colors, just alternative modeling in general.
Okay.
And at that time, I was so interested in photography. So I was always looking at like, yeah, just different sites or modeling types of websites to see like, oh, how can I participate in this? Like I would really love to model.
Yeah. So what type of or types of content were you uploading there?
So I didn't actually submit any sets to Suicide Girls until 2019. That was my very first submission, and it's like a boudoir type of set. So it is a set from like lingerie to nude, essentially.
Okay.
But I am kind of interested in Playboy. I know that they're kind of revamping.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Any plans on doing OnlyFans?
I do have an OnlyFans right now.
Okay. But which one are you more active in? The two? Suicide Girls or OnlyFans?
Oh, yes. I would say mostly OnlyFans just because Suicide Girls, it was like something I was really interested in when I was younger.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of, transitioning and seeing what else is out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into acting a little bit more. How soon did you say, okay, I'm gonna try entertainment? So from there, because I know that Soulmates is your very first like mainstream project.
Right.
So from when you've graduated from college until Soulmate, how long was it?
Yes. Let's see. So I graduated college in 2016. And are you asking my journey from?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And basically, after I graduated college, my first job outside of school was doing media with a nonprofit. And it was like a nonprofit for tech. So I would be a host on webinars, and I would also travel a lot.
Oh.
So I was on video kind of a lot because, just because that was my position.
How long did you do it?
I was with that company for a year, and it was very experimental because it was like, I've never worked like a real job before that. So,
Okay. And then how did Soulmate land on you?
yes. So actually, that is a good connection. So with traveling for conferences and things like that for this tech company, I was coming to LA for the very first time in my adult life. And the director of Soulmate, Douglas Clark, he had messaged me about doing a photo shoot together in LA. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely interested in, doing a lot of photo shoots. Back then in 2016, I was shooting all the time. So anytime a photographer wanted to do a project with me, I was like, yes, absolutely. Let's meet up. Let's do it. I just want to get out there. I want to meet people. So that's how we connected.
But for those who don't know, can you describe or just give us a summary of the story of Soulmate?
Okay, sure. It's about a girl named Serene and a guy named Caleb, and she's pushing him to go on these dates. It's like she really wants to find a third. And so she's like, he's going on these different dates. The dates turn out to be really strange. And then there's going to be a twist at the end. I don't want to give it away completely.
Of course, let's not.
Yes.
And you have a run in New York in the summer.
Yes, that's right.
All right. And you're going to tell us about it when it starts, because just in case I get there, I will watch it for sure. So during the first run of the play, have you read any kind of review? Have you been given any kind of feedback? And if so, what do you think is like the most hurtful feedback that you got that you realize, oh, wait, no, that's helpful?
Okay. There was definitely some feedback from the owners, like the directors of Zombie Joe's underground theater group. And I didn't find any of the critiquing hurtful. Like, because it's so new to me, like all of this is just such a wonderful learning experience. I was just interested in knowing like, oh, okay, so I can do these things. Like I think that the critiquing was mostly just like really bring it out there, you know, and we'll tell you if you need to pull it back. And because I'd never done anything like that before,
Okay.
I think that I was maybe a little bit more like shy and closed off.
Mm.
But with that critiquing, I was like, okay, I'm going to like really expand now and just like go for it.
So, okay, before you got into mainstream acting, you're into the alternative space and you started talking about it earlier. So, can you describe to us a little bit of what you're actually doing before you started pursuing mainstream?
Yes. Yeah. So when I was in school, I decided that I wanted to dance at clubs in Portland. It's actually a huge thing there. There's like so many strip clubs per capita in Portland, which is crazy. It's like almost every other corner. And because I love dancing and performing so much as a child, I was always interested in those characters in movies too. So when I moved to Portland, I decided, I was like, well, I'm working 3 jobs, and I would really like to just pay for university by myself, actually. Like I'd like to just take that load off my parents because they didn't really want to take any loans out. So they were just working really, really hard to help me out with that.
Oh, wow.
And there's 4 of us. So I have 3 little sisters, and I was like, well, we already know I'm not going to be a doctor. You know, I'm not going to like the most expensive school. One of my sisters probably will be. So why don't I just take the load off of them and I'll just cover everything myself.
Okay.
So they helped me with the first year. And after that, I was like, I'm just going to work 3 jobs. I'm going to figure it out.
Okay.
My friend told me, you know, she was dancing. And I was like, oh, wow, you made that much? I was like, that's crazy. I was like, and dancing? Like, I love dancing. And so I picked up dancing. Yeah. And I danced for 10 years. So from 2013 until 2023, 10 years.
Okay. So, and just for one club, just one for one.
One club in Portland, Oregon.
Wow. For 10 years?
But because I was traveling so much with a tech job, this like opened up this whole world for me. I was like, you know, I'm from Hawaii, so I've never really been able to travel that much, right? Like kids from California, you can drive anywhere. Like really, when you're in the mainland U.S., you drive anywhere, you can see all these things. But being from Hawaii, I had never seen anything.
Okay.
I'd fly out to California sometimes, and we drive to like Utah with my cousins. But other than that, I hadn't seen most of America. So when I was traveling for work with this tech conference job, it was like I was the only person that didn't have a family. So they would send me out on these conferences and like lab retreats, and then I would get to stay. I could stay somewhere for like the week. The middle of the week to the weekend. And then I was thinking like, I wonder like if I should start auditioning at different clubs just to see what it's like to experience that like everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, in all these different cities that I never thought I would ever travel to.
Okay. And did you?
I did. Yeah.
How is it? Is there a difference in culture in that genre, in that industry?
Oh, yes.
State per state?
Definitely.
Which do you think is like suits you the best, I guess is the right question.
Yeah, I mean, Portland is it's such a strange city. It's like very artsy, very weird, very circus. So I kind of noticed like I really liked dancing there because it's very kind of burlesque. And then some other places you go, it's like it's very different.
Okay.
You know, if you go to Florida, it's like it's so different.
Okay. So when you say it's circus-like, do you mean like you're more open to experimenting, that it's more like an art show more than anything?
Yeah, I would say it's so like acrobatic.
Wow.
Yeah, like very acrobatic.
Okay.
So more than kind of just like going up there and just shaking it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. This is, however, considered a sex work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how did the company know that you were doing this and you were also working for them?
No, not at all. And so I think that that's where, like, for me, what makes me unique, I think, is I had kind of like this compartmentalization, I think, that growing up, where my parents really wanted me to be a certain way. And like, I'm the oldest.
Right.
So I always felt like I'm kind of this weird circus freak. Like, I'm actually just a weird circus freak performer. Like, I just want to dance. I want to sing. I want to like do all these weird things. But like, I have to act normal. And so my whole life, I've had this like kind of two parts where like one part of me is like, okay, you have to act normal, Shannon. Like,
Yeah.
you have to show up. You just have to be like, normal, good Asian daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, with that job, that's who I was. And then my other persona, which has the name Katana, I would be like loud and
Right.
yeah.
Right. Did your parents know that you were doing both?
No.
When did they know?
So they just found out.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, 10 years later, they just found out.
Oh, wow.
This past Christmas.
Okay. So did you videotape that conversation? Did you record it?
No.
Okay. So tell me about how did you reveal it to them? What was their reaction?
It was not my choice.
Okay.
It's my little sister.
Okay.
I actually got her into performing and dancing as well.
Okay.
And she decided to tell them. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did she ask you before she told them?
Nope. She just decided she was going to do it. She was like, hey, we've been doing all this stuff. And so my dad had a conversation with me. He called me and he was like, hey, just so you know, like, I've always kind of known.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he's
Yeah.
supportive.
I mean, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily supportive about dancing, but I think that they realize, like, okay, we can't really stop
Right.
these two girls.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you get your sister to start performing?
So yeah, basically she followed me from Hawaii. She went to school actually at University of Hawaii first, and then she decided that she wanted to come out to Portland. And I was just kind of telling her, like, it's really good to be independent. Like, it actually feels really nice to be able to like take care of myself and to really take the load off my family. Because for me, I had always felt the need to be like independent and on my own.
Yeah.
And or like to instead help them instead of asking for them to help me. And so I was trying to help her out, and I was like, like, it's good to be financially independent. Like, try to figure it out. She did multiple jobs, and then she decided that she was going to try dancing too.
Okay. How about your mom? How did she react?
I think my mom was definitely like nervous. They really care. They really care about you, your parents. So.
Yeah.
So very nervous, but I think now it's been feeling like she's been very supportive.
Oh, good. That's rare. That's rare for a Chinese family, an Asian family for that matter, to be supporting something that they don't traditionally get into. So congratulations.
Thank
You have
you.
such a loving family. But you said that one of your sisters would probably go into something more traditional. Did she? Did you?
Yes. So I have two other younger sisters, and one of them right now is graduating high school. The other one is graduating college. And so the third, she is she's studying computer science, and she's graduating from University of Washington.
Okay. So do you help in the family financially, I mean?
Yes. I mean, not a lot, but sometimes my parents have asked me for help.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been more than willing.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
All right. So, okay. So let's get back into dancing. I'm going to assume that when you started it, it was more experimental for you, just to see how things are. And then you started building this persona, Katana. So can you describe the transition and how that happened, and how are you now? Like, where are you, that personality?
Yes.
What do you plan to do with that?
Yes.
With
so-
her?
Okay, yes. Oh, this is very loaded. Yes. Okay, so I think what actually took me into dancing, and this is going to sound so surprising and weird, but I was taking a lot of feminist classes at Portland State University. A part of my like communications was to kind of go in this direction. And then I was really interested in like love and family communications. And then I was like really interested. There was a class on the sex industry. And when I took that class, I was like, wow, this is so interesting. They had us read a book called Whores and Other Feminists. And it was about women doing sex work that were like really empowered by what they were doing.
Okay.
And I was so like intrigued. I was just like, I've never really felt like my body was my own. I think it's just like the background coming from like an Asian culture, you know, it's a very male dominating kind of culture. So I was like kind of entranced by what I was reading. And I was like, I think I'm really going to have to try this out. So that's kind of what led me into that. But then I decided, I was like, okay, you know, I've been dancing for quite a while now, and I kind of want to try something new. And I met someone who I'm no longer dating, but we're friends.
Okay.
And he was like, you should move to LA, like come to LA, you know, be my girlfriend. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen, because I've never thought about going to LA. I've never really thought that I was going to pursue acting, or like, you know, what people come to LA to do. I didn't see myself going there. But I was really in love. So I just like chased this person to LA,
Wow.
moved here, didn't know anyone. I was like, okay, I'm turning 30 soon.
Okay.
So this is just going to be like a whole new world for me.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, it was so tough. I was like, I don't know what is going on. I can't get a job for some reason. Like I'm very smart. I've always had, so dancing was always on the weekends, but I always had like a 9 to 5. So I was always compartmentalizing. It's like switch on and then switch off. And then it's like move into my next character.
Right.
So when I came to LA, I started looking around for jobs, and then I ended up getting another 9 to 5. But then I found this artist named Newsy Quiro, and he likes to do like all kinds of fashion artwork for like Beyonce, like singers and actresses. He did Shakira's outfit for Coachella last year.
Wow. Okay.
And he's no longer with us, so rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace. Okay.
But he was like, I have this really big project coming up, and I really think that you should be a part of it, because like you're a smart girl and we need help. So I was like, okay, what is this? And so I came onto this project called Elysian House, which was a project with Damon Lawner, who he's famous for owning Sanctum, which is a sex club in Hollywood that is like, he would basically throw like private parties for like celebrities and things like that.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how I entered like this kink space work that I've been working in now.
Okay. So, and that's when you created Katana.
So the creation of Katana was really like, it was kind of like an alter ego. And I created Katana when I was starting to dance, because I was like, I really want to come out of my shell. Like, I feel that like the character for me, Shannon, is so reserved and not necessarily conservative, but just kind of like trying to be more status quo, like kind of trying to fit in.
Right.
And then for Katana, that character is just like, nope, this is me.
Right.
Just loud and like fun.
Right.
and just a wild side.
Okay, so interesting. So you said that you've always had a 9 to 5, and that was even during college when you were working. Oh wow! And then during the weekends is when you would do dancing.
Exactly.
So just out of curiosity, so which one was paying better?
Dancing, of course.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Yes, but honestly, I really enjoyed having the balance. Like I enjoyed kind of having, like, okay, I know, there's some stability here, and also it's just like it's very normal and it's not as like loud. And then on the weekends I'll just like have a party basically.
So you still do you still have a 9 to 5?
So right now I'm working as a personal assistant. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a time off?
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How big is the difference in pay? Considering you're just doing it over the weekends.
Yeah.
Is it like double? Triple?
I would say, so when I first moved to LA, I was trying to do a cold turkey. I was just like, I'm changing everything. I'm no longer going to dance.
Oh, okay.
And so I started working like a front desk job for a famous plastic surgeon. And oh my gosh, yeah. So basically what I would make in a month when I was dancing, I would make that in one night. Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a very humbling experience to try to just change that completely.
Right. Okay.
And I did. So I haven't been dancing since 2023.
And you haven't been in the kink space since 2023?
Well, I have been.
Okay. Now you've been. Okay.
I have been, but it's more administrative work.
Okay. All right. Got it. So let's get a little back, go back a little just to, when did you move to LA?
Yes. So I moved to LA, it was like 2021 to 2022. And it was a bit of a long process.
Meaning you were going back and forth at
I was
first?
going back and forth at first because at first, yeah, I had a really hard time letting go. It was like, I've been doing this career for 10 years, and it's like, how am I gonna just suddenly stop doing that?
Okay.
And for the relationship that I moved to LA for, that was something that he wanted. He was like, okay, like, let's change. And I think that I was like struggling with that so much. So yeah.
Did he know that you were going back for that?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
He met me in the club.
Okay.
So
so you said that when you went to LA, you still at times would go back just to be able to perform?
Yes, exactly.
And does he know?
Yes, of course.
Okay. But okay, so this is strange. So you got into dancing primarily because you wanted to feel empowered and because you wanted to feel like your body is your own.
Yes.
And then you got into a relationship that wanted to change you. How did that work?
Yeah, it was very, very difficult, and we're still friends. So it didn't end up working, but yeah.
Was it the issue that you don't want to change for him?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's kind of funny because I moved to LA and I was supposed to like start doing the real estate stuff, which I know I mentioned to you in the email. I was like, I don't really want to talk about real estate because I feel like when I was pursuing that, it was just to make everyone else happy. It was to make my parents happy. It was to make like that relationship like happy. And I was like, I just don't really think that this is for me. Like, it's not really like my passion. So yeah, I think that it's like I just had this freak inside of me that's like, I just want to scream and shout and sing and dance. I just want to be on stage.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So how long were you when you got into the kink space? That's when you moved to California. That's when it started.
So I moved to California in 2021 to 2022. And I took a whole year of not doing any performing. And then I was like my soul was like, I need something. And then I fell into the kink space.
Okay.
So the kink space, I would say that started October of 2023.
Okay. When you got into it, were you performing first before you got moved into administrative work?
Yes. So I came on as more of an ambiance and like model and dancer.
Okay.
So I was supposed to really just kind of come into that space and like, you know, make it alive, dance on the table, like dance on the bar table, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so I was really excited to do that, as well as it was just such an inviting space for artists. Like we had so many different artists that would come through and perform, and you could bring your different talents like to that space.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is so fun. Like I really wanted to be a singer when I was a kid, but I never did like vocal training or anything like that. And so I was like, I'm not, you know, I wonder if I'll ever be singing here. Like that seems like really fun. Yeah. So I know it's kind of like the whole story is just crazy. The life is crazy.
The life is crazy, yeah. So it lends itself to it. Okay, so and then when did you start saying, okay, I just want to do administrative stuff now. Don't want to perform there.
Mm-hmm. So I think what happened, because the club was just so many art people. It was just so many artsy people. It almost felt like this whole place is going to fall apart if one of us isn't going to be like structure.
Okay,
so
got
then
it.
I was like, okay, this whole thing is missing right now. Everybody over here just wants to like party and drink and make all this art and be really messy, which is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't going to last 2 months if we keep living like this. So
Right.
I was like, I'm going to step in and I'm going to make sure that this party is going to go forever.
Okay, and so who owns it?
Okay, yes. That's a great question.
All right.
So Elena Crail, she is the person that I'm doing personal assisting for now.
Okay, got it. So she owns it, but it was you who had to step in and tell her, you gotta make some structure out of this place and organize it.
I think that she had met Damon Launer, who ran the sex club Sanctum. And I think that she was starting to kind of feel like, I don't really want to finance this anymore. Like this whole lifestyle, it's getting kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I stepped in right at the perfect time, like doing administrative work that was like kind of kept her in. She was like, okay, good. We have someone reliable now, like who's actually going to make sure, you know.
Oh, okay. So she wanted to quit.
Yes.
Until you stepped in and said, okay, I'm going to put some organization into this.
Yes.
And so that made her stay.
Exactly.
Okay. And so before you came into that space, how long was the bar open? How long has it been in business? Or club, sorry.
Yes. So basically they had a test party October, and I was a part of that. And the person, Elena, she didn't even go to that party. So her first party was New Year's Eve of 2024.
Oh, okay. So it's been pretty new.
Pretty new, and it actually only lasted 6 months.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you stepped in.
So I stepped in February of 2024.
2024. Is it still on? You're still...
So we're not doing those events anymore, but her and I are kind of just working on figuring out a business to do workshops and like kink related events. So no longer in the sex club space, but still within the community, just because we love the community that we built.
Okay. So just for those who don't know, when you say kink space, what's going on there? Is it S&M kind of stuff? 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing?
Yes, these are good questions. So, yes, the events that we were throwing before, they were just like adult Disneylands almost. Like this was like opulence to like the next level, because Elena, she's a billionaire. So she would really bring like the caviar like into everything. And it's like you'd walk in and there's like synchronized swimmers, and then the curtain opens and then it's like 6 people are on top of each other, like connected, like mouth to genital to just like Ouroboros of like human bodies.
Okay.
So like just performances. There were definitely like kind of like little plays that they would put on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a whole experience for the audience when they come in. Like they would get to experience this thing, like getting a cleansing ceremony in the beginning and then a closing tea ceremony at the end.
Okay.
Like just these crazy, fun, just wild events that they would throw for celebrities.
Okay. And were there any sex going on? Actual sex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is prearranged? Or is it like
It's
I walk
like,
in and like, I like her kind of thing?
Yeah. So these events that we were throwing, we were charging like $5,000 at the door.
Okay.
And there, you wouldn't be able to just get in. You'd have to go through an interview process, which I would be a part of that process. I would be the person actually who'd arrange it, and then I'd be there for the interview as well. But yeah, so you could come with a partner. The 5,000 covers for a man, a gentleman, and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would have a list of models that wanted to kind of just be there.
Mm-hmm.
So these weren't paid performers or anything. These were just like civilians that wanted to experience this party.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, you could either come with somebody or you could come as a single man and then kind of just try to meet people in this club.
Or single woman.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay, got it. So, and then if, for example, they want to take it further and have sex, that's a separate charge that you have nothing to do with, that the club has nothing to do with, or is that also?
No, so there's no exchange of money in the club at all. So
Everything is prepaid.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So I mean, it's prepaid in the sense where you buy a ticket, but there isn't any exchange beyond that. The only thing is, for the performers, like, because we'd have them do stories and plays where they would have sex, so we would pay them. But other than that, there's no exchange.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, if a couple says, I like a girl, like I like her, that doesn't happen in the club, or that it happens in the club?
Yes, so it would happen there. Yeah, but it kind of just depends on, like, if you can kind of make it happen. Yeah.
Got it. So it's not like I like her, you have to do it.
No.
It doesn't.
No,
Okay,
not
got
at all.
it.
Yeah.
Got it. So you said that it only lasted about 6 months. What made you stop?
So basically, Elena decided that she didn't really want to be financing Damon's lifestyle anymore. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what are you transitioning into? What's your plan with it? I mean, you seem to have a good working relationship with her.
Yes. So I'm still working with her, and she's in a huge transition as well. She's actually pregnant, and she's due, and it's a miracle child.
Okay.
So, and this is a whole crazy thing for her because she is a Lyme's disease survivor. She was in a wheelchair for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So this woman was in a Lyme chair, had Lyme's, was in a wheelchair for 20 years, met Damon, and was like, I have all these fantasies. Let's do it.
Okay.
I have the money. Let's go for it. And then I think she kind of felt used and abused in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's like having a miracle baby. Yeah.
With him?
No.
With somebody else?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Congratulations to her. I'm so happy for her.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now you don't know yet what you want to do.
So right now I've been exploring other spaces. So I saw Playboy will kind of do these like promotions of different clubs here. They did like Kinky Rabbit, which is one of Damon's competitors. And then Kismet is another party. There's so many different companies. And a lot of companies actually have been approaching me, asking me to do that administrative work for them.
Okay.
So that's kind of been an open-ended door right now for me. It's like a lot of people have been approaching me to help them with that type of work. But I've been taking some particular interest in, there's a dominatrix named Sophia Domina. And so I've been thinking that I'm going to be collaborating with her for her work.
Okay.
She kind of has this, she wrote this book. It's called Dami and Dahmer. And she has this interesting story. She's from a sex cult, like a religious cult. And she escaped and then became a dominatrix. So her whole thing is like, it's very women operated and ran, and the events are for women. And I think that because of my history in the space, like in the adult entertainment space, it's always been for men. So I think that that's what I'm working towards, is like just more female operated and owned types of businesses.
Okay. So most likely that's what you're going to be leaning into.
Yes, definitely, like helping her with her events. I know that she's trying to come out with like a pilot for her entertainment. So yeah.
Okay. So, and all this time you still have your 9 to 5.
All this time I'm still exactly.
Okay. So the question, so you said that one thing that made you interested in her is that this is more like a woman driven kind of thing. Are you going to cater to men, or are you also going to cater to women as customers? I mean, talking about customers.
Yeah. So I think that we're definitely able to do both.
Meaning men and women as customers.
Exactly. But I think that my passions with Sophia are mostly that we're really interested in education as well. So I'm trying to make a connection here with Elena and Sophia. You know, we really just want to be able to help people that either are having a hard time like opening up, having a hard time with intimacy in their own relationships, as well as there's just so many different things in the world of kink that are like, we really want to educate people on, like consent, or like reading a woman's body language, like how to approach a woman, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay. So you want to transition from just like performance towards actually helping women.
Exactly.
Educating
yes.
women. Okay.
All right. To use that performance and bring that to that space as well.
Okay.
So not to leave it completely, but just evolving it.
Got it. So is that something you're conscious about? Like, okay, I'm earning a lot, but I do need to invest, or I need to do something. Is that something you're...
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So how do you invest your money?
Yes. So right now I have a portfolio. I started with Robinhood like in 2020, to be honest. I was a part of that whole Reddit thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
They're still there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I think that because of COVID, that was such a wake-up call. That was a big wake-up call. You know, it's like I was actually working at a hotel and dancing on the weekends. And when both of those jobs got completely shut down because of COVID, which I thought hospitality, I was like, oh, hotels will be open forever.
Right, yeah.
And then with dancing, it's like, yeah, I think that was a huge wake-up call. So that's when I started really looking into like investing, and then real estate too, as part of investing.
Okay, so right now you are managing your own portfolio.
I am.
Not, okay, so good, congratulations. So one of the things that you advocate for is open relationships. Is it a result of your relationship, your ex, the one that you moved to LA for?
No, not necessarily. And to be honest, I'm not sure that I'm advocating for open relationships these days.
Mm-hmm.
I think, oh my gosh, I think that I've been really open my whole life.
Okay.
And I think that now I'm a little bit starting to feel more introverted, surprisingly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you mean you're going for more monogamous relationships rather than?
Not necessarily. So I think that what it truly is I identified as polyamorous. And I think that came kind of with dancing too. Like I always had issues when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of people were interested in me, boys, girls, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like life is so fun.
Yeah.
So I've been in that space actually for quite some time now, and I've been identified as polyamorous since like 2015, I would say.
Okay. And you still are. You still identify yourself as polyamorous.
Yes, I do.
Okay. But you're not practicing it at the moment.
So I think that that's kind of where, you know, there's different assumptions, I think, where some people think like, oh, if you're polyamorous, that must mean like you're sleeping with multiple partners. I actually don't have any partners at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still in an emotional relationship with anyone that I've been in a relationship with. So I kind of still have like 6 boyfriends. I'm just not sleeping with any of them. Yeah, I know.
It's a really different concept. Yeah.
It is, yes.
Are they in an emotional relationship with you?
Yes, I think they are, yes.
Okay.
And yeah, that is really new. So I feel like this interview is just kind of funny because you got me right at a time where it's like everything is suddenly changing.
Right. No. So, okay. So when you say emotional relationship, you mean the communication is constant.
The communication is, yes, very consistent. And it's almost like everything is still quite the same. Like I still say, honey, you know, let's do this, or like, let's go grocery shopping, or let's cook together. But I'm just not
Sleeping with them.
exactly.
Why?
I'm not.
I mean, not necessarily with all of them, but at least with one. What's stopping you?
I think that coming into like my early 30s, I was like really thinking that I wanted to have a family.
Okay.
And to be honest, I'm not sure right now, just because Elena's expecting soon, my boss, and just experiencing that with her, I feel like I'm very much a part of it, and that's kind of filling that cup.
Okay.
So even right now, I'm not really sure that I need to have a baby, but I think in the last year, I was definitely,
Thinking
my
about
brain
it.
was like, you want to have a baby, like you want a baby right now. And then in these relationships, I think that the guys that I was dating, they weren't necessarily interested in having a child.
Okay. Got it.
So then
Got
I
it.
was like, oh, okay, you know, like, but we're doing all this stuff. And
But
of
you
course, I was like very open at the time. But now I'm kind of just like, well, I'm kind of at the point where I do want to be very intentional. Like, I think I do want to have a baby. I'm not really sure at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that like if we're going to be doing that and having that like sacred space together, that I want to be doing that with someone who is thinking about that as well.
Okay. Okay. You called it a sacred space. How do you, and then you do some intimate stuff on your work with dancing, at least before.
Yeah.
So how do you separate the two? Like, okay, this is work, and then when I go home and I'm with my significant other, I'm doing something sacred. How is it even? Do you even make the difference? Do you even separate the two?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I think that, honestly, it does take a lot of like compartmentalizing, and like it kind of takes some brain work for that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like, you know, I'd work like poker games and like dancing and things like that. It's kind of just like, this is work. So for my partners, like they would know, like you know, that they wouldn't really be able to change that for me. But then for me and them to have that, like, it would be different because it's like for love.
Okay. When you were dancing, just forgive me, just something that popped into my head. Were they allowed to touch you?
So it depends. So let's say I'm dancing on stage. There's not really certain clubs you're not really supposed to do any touching. Like the audience can't just like come up there and grab you.
Yeah.
But if you were to sell private rooms, then it's kind of a more intimate setting where you give a lap dance, and yes, they can, you know, like touch your hair, they can touch your back.
Can they go further? And have you ever allowed anybody to go further than that?
Yes, I have. And in those situations, only with people that I like honestly was really interested in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it's kind of almost like if I were to see you normally outside somewhere and I was interested, I would like want to take things further.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever allowed anybody to go further than that while you were in a relationship?
I think so. Yeah, I think that relationships have always, because of the type of work that I was in, had always been very blurry. And I would always communicate what was happening.
Got it.
So I think that even now, like in the relationships that I'm in, I'm very much of like a no surprise type of person. So let's say that I did meet a client and I was like, oh, you know, this person is interested in paying my rent or whatever. They want to like come and hang out with me at the club and like we'll cuddle, they'll massage my feet or whatever. I would let them know. I actually don't keep secrets from anyone.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So no secrets ever.
Okay.
Except for from my parents, whom I don't keep secrets from anymore now. Yeah.
But probably not tell them everything
Exactly.
either.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're transitioning and you said that you probably would like to do more administrative work in that space. Do you plan on doing any kind of mainstream entertainment in that space? Meaning, for example, she's a billionaire. Maybe do a documentary or do a TV show or a series that's centered around this space.
Yes, so that's actually why I'm like really excited about working with Sophia Domina. So she has the book and then she's working on the pilot for a show. And so I think that would be really interesting to do entertainment, like mainstream entertainment, but also within that space.
Okay. All right. What stage is it now? Is she shooting the pilot or just still writing or still looking for funding? Where is she?
I believe that she is, I believe that she's been working on shooting it. So
Okay.
I think that's kind of where she's at in that process.
When does she expect your sort of decision on whether you're going to join her or not?
Yes, we had lunch last month and I was so happy to meet her, and mostly just because it's like we share similar values on like helping women and also teaching men about how to approach women as well.
Right.
So I kind of texted her this morning and I was like, hey, you know, let's maybe plan for March for me to start.
Okay.
Because my schedule with my 9 to 5 lately has been like really consistent. So
Okay. Okay. So still amazes me that you still have a 9 to 5. Like you're doing all of this and you still have a 9 to 5. Okay. So you want to do this and you also want to pursue acting. So you still want to keep on auditioning. Is there any interest in music, like producing your own music?
oh my gosh, I'm so interested in music.
Okay.
Yes, but it's just so new. Like the Soulmate writing, that was the first time I've ever written songs that I've let people hear, like that I've ever performed. Because I would write songs in high school, but I would just like keep them to myself.
Right.
No one would ever know.
Yeah.
Or I would like come home like from a party and I would just like start singing like really loudly in my apartment. But this was the first time that I was like, okay, we're writing songs and I'm going to perform them. And that experience was just so fun. um yeah, I definitely want to pursue that. I think that right now it just kind of feels like there's so much on my plate. And so it's funny that you get me in this interview where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on." Like there's everything gets is
Yeah.
being thrown at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you plan on owning your own YouTube channel and just doing something?
Yes. I mean, I definitely want to I'm definitely interested in doing some writing, to be honest with you.
Okay.
A lot of my friends have been doing like really fun comedy skits, and I'm kind of like, "Huh, that'd be fun to do like something, like stripper comedy skits like in the club or something like that." I mean, Honora, that film is just like so many awards, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
seems like that um type of persona, it's like kind of becoming more accepted like
Right.
widely.
Yeah. I think you should have your own team
Yeah.
help you out with some stuff. Okay. So you did say that this last several years you kind of feel like you want to have a family. You want to have a kid. Do you want to have a family or just a kid?
That is a good probing question. I think I do want to have a family.
Okay.
It's just that my idea of what a family looks like is like very different, I think, from like the norm. Like for me, I definitely want to have a primary partner that maybe is the only person that I sleep with. And for them to be okay with the child having uncles and aunties. Yeah.
Got it. And those would be emotional partnerships, not necessarily physical partnerships.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to get into an actual marriage with contract and
Yes,
wedding?
I actually do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Which,
Well, do you think so you'll be open to naturally you'll be open to your child knowing about this entire side of you.
yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. If you are in New York and you're looking to watch some off Broadway stuff, please watch Soulmate. Check them out. They will have the run will start in the summer, she said. So please check that out. Also, you can check out her social media accounts. The links will be in the description box. You should also be seeing it here on your screen right now. And I hope that you found that interesting. I hope that you found it enlightening. I will continue interviewing people, experts in the industry. I will be posting their profile in Patreon so that if you have questions, you can ask them. You can write it down in Patreon and I will ask them. Also, eventually, I will be live streaming the interview on Patreon. So please follow me there. It's a vibrant community. It's not just about BTS, we share a lot of other stuff there. We have a lot of fun. And also, if you're looking for a safe space where you can express your controversial opinions or ask controversial questions, it's a space for you for as long as you are respectful. Also, follow me on X and on Instagram. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.